a playlist original.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster. My name is Gates Bowling, and this is a special anniversary episode because we are celebrating 25 years, more years to make me feel old, of Good Will Hunting. Good Will Hunting, which was again released on December 5th, 1997 in the United States. Um, Even though the anniversary has already passed, I did want to do a little bit something on this movie because this was a really special movie for me when it first came out, when I first saw it. And I also just love the story behind it, not only the story of the movie but the story of it getting made, just two best friends writing something together that made them both into bigger stars than they were at the time, and really solidified their careers, and really showed people like Robin Williams were already showing promise in dramatic roles, but like really just a really good all-around project for everyone involved. Once again, I got my boy JC on to help me with another anniversary episode. This will be the third one that he's on. He did Home Alone 2 Lost in New York with me. Um, in the spirit of transparency, he just recorded a 20th anniversary episode of 25th Hour with me, and he's stepping into this one right after that because he's that dedicated and that cool. So thank you for coming on for this special anniversary episode as well.
Thank you for having me. Like this movie meant a lot to me, and like I said, I love anniversary stuff. So like anytime you want to do anniversary, you just got to reach out to me. Like, yo, JC, like how you feel about this movie? But with Good Will Hunting, I loved when you brought it up to me. I'm the one that recommended that we just shoot this back to back.
Yeah.
Like I love this movie just as much as 25th Hour. That I'm like, I could do this, and I didn't go to work today, so it was like we both have the time.
Yeah,
And I
perfect.
was like, it's a movie that deserves a treatment to acknowledge all. I mean, as we were going to talk about it, all it has an impact in the last 25 years.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of at this point, all of you know who JC is. I'm going to link his Instagram movie page on the descriptions for all of the episodes that he's featured on 25th Hour and this one. So you guys can check out and follow him because he does movie news better than some of us that do it for a living. So so you should definitely be keeping
Thanks to
up.
my wife. Thanks to my wife.
Yes, he does have. He did mention that.
Kick my ass.
Yeah, he did mention that in the Home Alone episode that he has a lot of help from his wife, but whatever. Behind every good man is a great woman. So there we go. Well, getting right to it. Good Will Hunting, like I said, released in December of 1997. Directed by Gus Van Sant and written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Also starring them, Matt Damon is the lead here, playing Will Hunting. Ben Affleck plays his best friend, and the film also stars Robin Williams, Minnie Driver, and Stellan Skarsgård. The film was a big success, which is crazy because this reminds me that we don't get adult movies like this anymore that make this kind of money. I think the way this did.
Yeah, we've seen the struggles this last couple of weeks with Fabelmans, Tar, all those movies.
Like I think if something like Fabelmans came out in 1987, it probably maybe would have done decent business.
Fabelmans comes out 2010. It would have made over 100 million. Like look at what he did with Lincoln. I mean, I was like human dramas like that. Like we're old school, so obviously we experience different highs of like the theatrical stuff. Like back when Titanic was in theaters for a whole year, which will never happen anymore.
This is also
Avatar,
during this period, right? This was during that period too, in '97.
Yep, that same option. Like, Avatar 2, like I see it being in theaters like 3 months, maybe.
Yeah,
tops. So like with streaming, it's like it sucks, but like the media evolved. So it's like like this Good Will Hunting came out today. I give it 45 to 50 minutes tops. It would not make,
I think so too.
225, whatever it did.
Yeah, thank God this came out in 1987 because it on a budget of $10 million. The movie ended up making $225 million worldwide. say what we want about Miramax now, because of the person behind it. I won't even give that person like name service. You know who he is.
We know exactly what it is.
We know who he is. They were really good at platforming their movies. They were really good at like releasing them slowly and letting them build word of mouth.
Yeah.
Especially movies like this that weren't like guaranteed mainstream hits. Like this movie opened in limited release. I think its opening weekend was a little over like 200 something $1,000, and they opened it gradually. And then I think on
Word
its
of mouth.
first yeah, I think its first wide weekend it made over $10 million, and then it just kind of held on because of good word of mouth and really, really positive reviews. Also got a lot of awards attention at the 70th Academy Awards. It received nominations in 9 categories, including Best Picture and Best Director. It won 2 for Best Supporting Actor for Robin Williams and Best Original Screenplay for Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Minnie Driver was also nominated for her performance in here, which I kind of forgot until I watched it again this morning. She does put
I
in some
love it.
solid work. Put in some solid work. There's
People
one scene in
shit on it too
particular.
much.
Yeah, there's one scene in particular, and I was like, all right, there it was. That was her moment right there.
Oh,
And then the score was also nominated. Danny Elfman did the score for the film, and I will say this: I'm in the vocal minority on this. I truly know that "My Heart Will Go On" is a great movie song. I will not take it away. I will not take that away from
Thank
Titanic.
you. Thank
I
you.
won't take that. But Elliott Smith, he made a lot of original music for Good Will Hunting.
But Miss Misery.
Miss Misery is a beautiful song. It was nominated for Best Original Song. It lost to My Heart Will Go On, but I will die on the hill that this should have won Best Original Song.
Oh no. Gee,
I got to.
I know you're not a Titanic fan. I love Go. Don't get me wrong. I love Goodwill more than Titanic. It was my number 2 of '97 at the LA competition, which should have won Best Picture. But My Heart Will Go On.
I know it's a good song.
It's a great song. The scene that is used.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also something we gotta bring that me and Dave always talk about. The fact that freaking original songs only play in the end credits nowadays. I miss the days they played in the freaking movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Elliott's stuff, his songs are sprinkled throughout the runtime of Good Will Hunting. A tragic figure in his own right. I forgot how he committed suicide.
I didn't know that. No,
that is not the way most people. That's not the way most people do it. Like he.
Oh, I didn't read into how he did it.
He stabbed himself in the chest, which is why there are some conspiracy theorists that think that like who could actually do that to themselves, but like that's what he did.
Wow, I didn't know. I just know he committed suicide, but I didn't know it was that.
But yeah, like back in the day, like when they would perform the Best Original Song nominees, he did perform live at the Oscars along with Celine Dion. I forgot what other songs were nominated that year. But
probably Anastasia or something.
Probably something like it. But this was so this is 25 years ago, and I know I'm pretty young seeing it at the time it came out. But there's something about the movie that even when you're young, there's something you can like identify with or latch onto a little bit. And I didn't grow up an orphan like the character in the movie, but I do know that kind of conflict of like a long time. I don't do this anymore, but back in the day, like pushing people away before they can push you away, like kind of like setting up walls, building walls, like when because you're afraid you're gonna get hurt. There's a lot of that going on in Good Will Hunting, and I even could see that as a 25 years ago, seeing it then in '97, and it's something that carried on with me watching it years after that. Now, I hadn't watched this movie actually in a while until this morning when we were setting up to record this. It'd been maybe 10 years since I had watched it. It's been a long time, and
wow.
And like I was watching it and I forgot how some scenes in this movie hit real hard. The writing's really, really good. It's really top notch.
Incredible.
From this duo. And before I go into like your first time seeing it, I'm just gonna give like a little quick in case people don't know what it's about. The movie is about someone named Will Hunting. He's a janitor at MIT and has a gift for mathematics, but needs help from a psychologist to find direction in his life because what you'll kind of find in the movie is that there are a lot of people vying for his time. Some might say his soul, he pulled in one direction by his friends and that life, and partying with them because that's what he knows, and working a basic job because it gets him by. And then he meets a girl, and then there's also like vying for like maintaining that relationship, and her clearly seeing something in him that's better than what he wants to present to her. Even like throughout the movie, he's like kind of scared to show her like the real
Yeah,
him.
because he's used to being hurt.
Right. And then there's also Stellan Skarsgård's character, who really wants to the professor, who sees in him that he is a genius when it comes to this, with mathematics, with this problem that no one's been able to solve except for him. So now he's vying for, that part of him. And then there is his therapist, Sean, who really only wants to vie for like the real part of him. Like wants to like be like, tell me who you are so I can like help you truly discover like so I can help you. So there's a lot of push and pull with different relationships that makes the movie like much more interesting than like a typical like coming of age story. There's a lot of like you see a character that is being pulled in a lot of different directions, and I think a lot of people in life can relate to that, especially when they feel kind of stuck or lost, or kind of feeling like, oh, like what direction should I go in? So that's kind of where we're at the start of the movie. But JC, I know you didn't see this 25 years ago, so I'm gonna ask you.
So pretty early.
All right, when did you see Good Will Hunting for the first time?
For sure, it had, I would say like 99, 200, 2000.
Okay, so pretty close to when it came out.
Yeah, because like I say, like I have older siblings, so like I was around movies. Like I saw The Matrix in theaters at 7 years old, and that was rated R.
Yeah.
But so like I had siblings also. I was always watching movies, like Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. I don't know, those are my like guys besides Arnold Schwarzenegger, but like of actors like that were young. Remember those guys is the late 90s, early 2000s. They were running. It was like those three and Brad Pitt, pretty much like you could count like every other month. It was one of them had a movie coming out.
Yeah, they were doing something.
So being like just being a fan of them, like it was a movie I saw pretty early. Obviously, as I got older, I understood it more. Like when I first saw it, I saw probably like 99, 2000. That was when DVDs started becoming a real big thing. Everybody was starting to get them all.
Yeah.
So like I saw it pretty early, but when it started really becoming a movie I loved, I'll say was when I got to middle school. Like around that 12, 13 range. Which, I feel like it's a good age to watch this movie.
Yeah,
because it's like still that age, obviously, where you have your childhood friends who you. I mean, obviously, I can't relate to the bar aspect, but it's like you relate to that for so that like your friends that you're there for whatever, and it's it's a movie that just has always resonated with me. Like you said, the themes about how like pushing people back, about having your friends be like you gotta be loyal to your friends, but when you have a gift. Is like, do you let them? I mean, I wouldn't even say hold back because, as you know, Ben Affleck's character
is the one that wanted him to embrace his gift.
So I wouldn't say like, push back, but it's just a movie I've always appreciated. As I get older, I've never done one of those. Like, I've done my top 15. Like, I could say I have a top 15. Like, those are the definitive top 15 movies that I love. But I've always said it like. If I was to have a top 50 favorite movies of all time, Good Will Hunting has to be there. I've seen this movie easily over 20 to 25 times. Like you mentioned, the script is incredible. The fact that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon like literally weren't just like a one-hit wonders. They literally just have careers and they're still doing big movies nowadays.
Yeah.
Robin Williams is, like he's not with us anymore. So like when you see a movie like this, you're just like, wow, like we get it. He was comedic, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, but this man is hands down probably the best comedian. When it comes to comedians doing dramas, I don't think nobody does it better than Robin Williams.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so this movie, I mean, a lot of people in pop culture like to make fun of how much was written by Matt Damon and how much of the movie was written by Ben Affleck. Because there is like Family Guy, I forgot what joke they kind of make that like they make a joke about like how Matt Damon really wrote most of it, and that Ben Affleck
I mean,
he sat around and smoked pot and eat Cheetos all day. That's like the joke,
I mean, I
basically, on
mean,
Family
I
Guy.
mean, come on, come
But
on, look at the movies that Matt Damon has written: Promised Land and Jerry, that weird ass shade with Casey.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you have Ben Affleck, Gone Baby Gone. He wrote The
great director.
Town. He did it by Argo, but still, I've always felt that Casey was a better actor than Ben.
Yeah,
But Ben has grown as an actor. But I've always said that Ben Affleck is an incredible filmmaker.
Faker. Yeah,
Besides Live by Night, which was a huge disappointment.
yeah,
Anything he's written or directed
it's been good. Yeah,
is
he's
is
gold.
always incredible. Like the dude is, come on, like he's even doing a freaking movie about Air Jordan coming out next year, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, me
And
too.
they wrote it. Oh, The Last Duel. I forgot they wrote The Last
Yeah,
Duel, which I fucking loved.
yeah.
So I don't believe that theory that
Yeah.
that Matt Damon were more.
Well, true legend has it is that Matt Damon started writing it in 1992 when he was in college, and he wrote,
Okay, school time.
and he wrote the first 50 pages, and then gave it to Ben Affleck, who they then expanded on it together. So it was like a mutual
Okay.
so they wrote it together. So we can, even though it's kind of funny maybe to believe that like Matt Damon was like the smarter one, and he was like, I
Hold
wrote
up,
all this.
Geez, in your research, did you read about the subplot it had?
Oh no, what did you have one? Did you know it?
Yeah, it was that the original script was way longer because besides the therapist stuff, it also had a thing where Will gets recruited for like some CIA type stuff.
Oh, it was
Because it
supposed
was
to be like kind of darker, right? It wasn't really supposed to be like
yeah,
it was supposed to be like a
and
drama. It
yeah,
wasn't supposed
like
to be a
Rob
drama.
Reiner
Yeah,
told them take out that and just stick to the
focus
story
on
of
like what's real. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, which is crazy to think about. I was like, he would have been Jason Bourne before Jason Bourne.
yeah. That would have been a totally different movie, dude. Just a completely different
For sure.
movie.
Well, it might have been a hit, but would not have been an awards juggernaut that it was.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, just starting like it's just a really well written. Like, I mean, you could tell like a lot of time and care and care went into making these characters and like giving them life and making them realistic. I mean, we talked about that about 25th Hour before we recorded this. Like, I also kind of feel watching this, and I think it kind of helps watching this, knowing that they're in their early stages of their career, that it's very easy to separate Matt Damon and Ben Affleck from who they are or who they became after this.
Yeah, because
Uh,
you know it better than me because you, like
yeah,
I said, you were of age where you were
because like
watching their movies before
because
that.
I wasn't like, I knew Matt Damon had been in stuff and Ben Affleck as well. They weren't huge stars yet, but they were
But
in
people knew
movies.
that there was
But we knew who they
potential.
were. I think like, Matt Damon was in like Courage Under Fire, with Denzel
Oh,
Washington, Meg
that was that
Ryan.
was that was really
Yeah, I think Ben Affleck had already done Chasing Amy, Mallrats, stuff like that. He had
no
worked with Kevin
same year he had done
the
Mallrats and he
same
had
year.
done Dazed and Confused, which
Yeah,
asshole Ben Affleck. That was what he
no,
was known for at that point.
where and the cool thing about this is that most that guy whose name that we're not going to speak, I guess the one good idea that he had, because they wanted to star in it, and that usually does not happen when you have a screenplay that you wrote and you try to sell it to a studio. They usually want to try to get someone bigger, and I think I read that at the time they were thinking about Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, which kind of, I
Yeah,
guess, would have been age appropriate. It would have been like right for that part, but like
that yeah,
they
it
really
makes
wanted
sense
to.
too.
It
Like
makes
that
sense, yeah.
period.
Yeah. So they really wanted to star in it, and that usually doesn't happen, but the man whose name shall not be spoken said they should star in it. And he was the one that kind of gave the approval, like, yeah, like if Matt Damon wants to lead it, Ben Affleck wants to co-star in it, then that's fine. Uh and then it came down to like getting the right director, and like I think with Gus Van Sant, I mean, it really came down to they had talked with Mel Gibson, Michael Mann. That didn't really work out. And then
Yeah, well,
they 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 both
Michael Mann would have been into the spy shit way more.
yeah, I know. They Ben Affleck brought up Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was like, dude, read your script. You need to get a good filmmaker to do it. And then what he meant by like, Kevin Smith said at that time, and I think still, he was like, I can direct my own stuff, but like I'm not. I
Yeah,
don't know if
it's
I
like
can like take on someone else's thing. And this is really
that's a
special.
cop
Don't.
out.
Yeah, right. He was like, "This is really special. Don't like kind of mess it up. Like, get the right
No,
person
yeah,
to do it."
you need a real good director.
And they got Gus Van Sant because they were both fans of Drugstore Cowboy, which came out in 1989, and Miramax had to be
My own private
persuaded.
eye huddle, right?
Yeah, and that too. And then Miramax had to be persuaded to hire him, but they ultimately went with him because they liked his vision for the movie. And I think what was important too is that he wasn't going to kind of like try to take over their script. This was their story. They were going to be there on set as actors and as writers, and it was going to be a collaborative effort. So that's how that kind of came about. The casting of Robin Williams, Matt Damon had worked with his niece, and the niece was like, "Hey, there's this really good script that he wants you to read," and Robin Williams read it and he loved it, and that's how he became a part of it. Um, so I will say at this point in my at when I was watching movies, I hadn't seen. So before this, what serious movies had he done before this? He had done
Making more, whatever that
so like
Happy Day spinoff shit.
so he did that. I was trying to, and then like his dramatic stuff, he did like Dead Poet Society, which I hadn't seen
That
at the time.
poet.
I don't know
I
if
was like, you still
I don't
see
know.
the G?
Yeah, no, I have seen it. I have seen it since, but at the time in like '97,
Have
I
you seen
hadn't
the
seen
Butcher
it.
King?
I hadn't seen it then. Like so, I saw all
Okay,
these
no,
movies
yeah,
after.
that's another dramatic
So
performance.
I only knew Robert Williams as
Yes,
the
we
funny
did.
guy,
Mrs.
dude. Like he
Doubtfire.
was Mrs. Doubtfire, like Hook, like he's just a funny guy. Um, I remember when I saw him in this. One, it's a really great performance because it's really subdued, but there's a lot of layers. I mean, this guy is a very complicated man as well, but this is why he's able to identify with Will during their therapy sessions because they're kind of one and the same a little bit. Even though like
Yeah.
I love when he makes the reference to him like I don't know I like how can I really know what it's like for you? I can't assume what I know what it's like for you to be an orphan just by reading Oliver Twist, right? Like, I'm not going to assume that like I know you, and you can't assume that you know me from looking at a painting, saying like basically dissecting my life with my wife and like what that relationship was. Um, I just love their dynamic together. And like I had never at that point when I saw it 25 years ago, I'd never seen Robin Williams be serious. And it's a really strong performance, but it's not showy either. And I think
Yeah,
sometimes those
it's
get
very subtle, very subdued.
yeah, and those can get ignored by like the Academy, right? They can be like, if there's not a lot of theatrics, then like it's like, oh, okay, well, what did you do? That was so
Especially supporting actor.
yeah. But he it's just a genuine, really grounded performance, and I think and credit to Matt Damon, who I know that Robin Williams has scenes with Stellan Skarsgård that are also really good, but like it's Matt Damon and Robin Williams scenes together that like
Yeah, bro,
are
those are the more number one, the ones that obviously kind of have the most impactful life lessons.
yeah. And it's like you're watching, and then like I love watching their growth too. How they go, it's like this antagonistic kind of like, at least on like Will's part, and then this sort of like camaraderie that kind of forms with each session that they have. But then I also love that as they get closer, like when he has that, it's right after he breaks it off with Skylar, they break up, whatever, and then they are having that one therapy session where he's kind of
You can
like,
see how it hits me, man.
he's like basically like, dude, like if you want to jerk off, like go home and use a moist towel. Like you're not gonna like give me lip service here and not be true. Like you've been true this whole time, and now you want to like throw up walls now. So like our session's over. If you're not gonna be real, then I can't really do this with
Yeah,
you. And like
like at that point, like he kind of knew Will, where he knew when he was being real and not. Like you said, it's like the development from first meeting, which ends with the choke. That
yeah,
was the first meeting, right? Choke ends with the choke,
yeah.
and
After
then
he
goes
makes
for
the
the
comment
house.
about the wife,
Got it
yeah.
cheap.
That's great.
No, yeah.
Don't
So
fuck
like you
with.
nailed it. Like the progression of their stuff is incredible. Where he kind of knew that Will was bullshitting him.
Yeah, and even like taking the insults he gives him, like even in that scene where he basically tells him like, you know, he like when he says like, oh, like we've been married before, like, oh, but like my wife's dead, and he basically says, so you're not gonna ante up and try again, and like basically it insinuates that he's like a coward for not doing it, but like,
Yeah,
that's kind of like that's Sean's truth, right? That's the space that he's in. Like he married this woman, he fell in love with her, he took care of her when she got sick, uh, that is the life he had, and for him, I kind of used when I would watch him, I was like, well, is it sad that he hasn't really fully like that he can't move on again, that he hasn't really done it? But
No, but
I think
I
he's
mean,
accepted what his reality is, like what it is for him.
yeah.
Like, uh, but I mean, but a very interesting and well written character though. For like having and just knowing that he started writing this when he was in college, like in like '92, and like there's just so much nuance in that character, and then like just seeing the growth between the two characters, I just really enjoy watching them kind of riff off of each other,
No, yeah,
and
those scenes are incredible.
I
The
think and
baseball scene, especially.
yeah, I love that. Yeah,
That's when the riffing is at its best. When like the story, he like,
yeah.
I ain't gonna know get damn game.
I, I didn't go to the game. Like what? He's like what? What do you mean you didn't go to the game?
They're fucking
He's
great.
like no, but he wanted to be with the and I love that kind of comes full circle because I know because we're just talking about
One
the
of
overall
my
experience of watching the
favorite
movie.
last line.
Yeah, I love because we're talking about the overall experience of watching the movie rather than breaking it down scene by scene. But like,
Yeah,
I love a good callback, and that callback to like how he spent time instead of going to that game, he stayed with the woman that he wanted to stay with, and like
he had to go see about a girl.
I got to go see about a girl, and then and then Will has to
Fucking
do that
love it.
with
Son of a bitch
Skylar
stole
in the
my
end.
line.
Yeah, and
You know
like
he ad libbed that.
I did not know he had like no, that's cool.
Yeah, Robin Williams ad lib. Son of a bitch stole my line.
All
I
right,
was
that's
like,
awesome.
that's why you get so. I always say that like comedians and dramas are the best because they're so good at improvising that they
Right,
can
I
make
agree.
something much better. Like without what that's son of a bitch stole my line makes that ending so much better because it's like it's like
And
it's
by
perfect. It's like
and by the way, you let Robin Williams improvise because it's Robin Williams. Like
exactly like
no matter what.
you know what you're getting when you hire him.
Yeah, I also watching this today realized how much I actually missed him as an actor. Like and they're like because like he was so like I said versatile. He could do comedy, he can do drama. It even hit me a different kind of way when he was talking about taking care of his sick wife because I was like thinking about the real life parallels of like his wife in real life taking care of him as he
Yeah,
got like
how his
it,
last days.
yeah his war like it was just like it hit like in a really different uh way watching it. Um, I think he's probably one of the. I mean, I know we've lost a lot of great people in this industry, but he's still one of the ones I'm like, God, that one stings still that he is no
Yeah,
longer here
him and
putting
Philip
out
Seymour
some.
Hoffman was the ones that hit me the hardest. Like I remember these we didn't meet these people. I mean, granted, I'm happy for you. You're meeting a lot of people now, so I mean, granted, I hope they don't happen anytime soon. But whenever their time comes, you can be like, oh, I had this great
It's a
conversation with them.
conversation, yeah,
So like you're gonna be able to do that with a lot of celebrities, which is great. I'm
yeah.
very jealous, but you've earned it. You put in that work. Like I said in the first time I was here, like I was following your page from back when I just had my regular personal page, and then
Yeah,
when I moved to movie page, you were like one of my biggest inspirations. You were the first page I followed when I started working with the movies, like any other movie pages. So,
yeah.
but like him, like his death, like it's like he was such a like for you. For me, it was the '90s, and I mean, obviously you the '80s and '90s, but Robin when it was a huge deal in the '80s.
Right.
Like with and then the early '90s, with Hug, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji. So it's like he was such a big part of both our childhoods. Like like when he died, and then the fact that he didn't die of a sickness, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He killed himself. It made it that much sadder because it's similar.
I
Like
mean,
it's crazy where
he was like I think he was gradually like losing his fat like he had like early onset
yeah,
like dementia and
like
stuff
it's
like that.
crazy.
Yeah, like
It's
it's
crazy we're
sad.
recording. Oh, sorry. It's crazy we're recording that today. Because the thing that happened with Twitch.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's similar. It was like these two guys who were always smiling, such jolly spirits, incredible personalities, and they had so much pain inside of them. Like it's just crazy right now that we're recording this literally the same weekend that happened.
Yeah. I think with Robert Williams was losing. He was losing. He was quick, right? And he was losing that. He was
Yeah,
like
because that's
he had
business.
he like and like he had early like what do we call onset like dementia or something like that. That there's like a documentary about that his wife
I
that
still haven't seen it because it's just
it was a
I'm
hard
not
watch. It's
mentally prepared. Oh, you see,
yeah,
yeah, I'm not
I
mentally
watched it.
prepared
Yeah,
yet.
but he like he had I think that kind of hurt him that he couldn't be like quick like that anymore. And I mean, it'd be really hard for someone like him who's used to being just on and like constantly like you know able to do that. But like it's just great, like But watching him here, I mean, I always wonder, and I didn't really have time to look up any interviews or stuff. I just wonder if he was a funny guy on set and was able to like turn it off and like be like serious, or did he have to kind of be in that headspace all the time to kind of like play a
I
role
mean,
like
he
this?
looks like a person that could switch it up because he was like I've seen behind the scenes of like other stuff he's done, and he was such a personality that I feel like he was one of those that could probably turn it off and just like crack a joke just to lighten up a mood.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that too. And like, and I know Matt Damon has talked. I mean, both of them have talked about how it was such a get to have him in this movie
That
because
was big.
they didn't think they were going to be able to get him, and that that how much he loved the project and how much he kind of supported it, and like from the start, and like got through that whole award season with him. Like they were like they couldn't have done it without him. That they had very kind words to say with him after he passed, and like continued to say like in the years since about like what his impact was on that movie, because you know no big stars are attached to it except for him. Like
Like
Matt Damon
he
wasn't
put
Matt
a lot of
Damon
butts in the
yet.
seats.
Yeah, Matt Damon wasn't Matt Damon yet. Ben Affleck wasn't Ben Affleck. Certainly, Stellan Skarsgård wasn't putting butts in the seats yet, at
That was
all.
my intro to him. That
Minnie
was my intro to
Driver. I
Stanley.
think Minnie Driver. She had done some stuff, but she wasn't like a
Sleeper,
prominent.
some maybe.
Yeah, she wasn't a prominent like lead yet either. I mean, so this was Robert. His name being attached to this was a huge sell for them, and on top of the movie being good, I think that probably had a lot to do with it too. Like
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when
Like
reviews,
I said, like you
especially
said, word of mouth.
yeah, especially when reviews came out about his performance in particular too, man. Oh, like look at the work he's doing in this movie, and like, and then on top of that, you get to see all the work that this other young actor is doing, and like I forgot like how good Matt Damon is in this because like I hadn't watched it in
Should have
like
won the
10
Oscar.
years. Who he lost to?
Jack Nicholson, as good as it gets.
Like
But as good
yes,
as it gets was a big thing back then.
yeah, it
People
was it.
people that don't know that weren't alive, they don't know, but that movie was a
Yeah,
huge
I
deal.
forgot. I forgot that's who he. Yeah, I guess.
Come on, like bro, like I'm sorry that it's a good performance, but that's not even a top 10 Jack performance. And it's like but I guess they probably were like, oh, we're giving him the screenplay Oscar. That's enough.
God. Yeah, I mean, I guess they kind of figured that. I gotta watch As Good as It Gets again. I don't know if that was a stronger performance than
I
Matt
haven't seen
Damon's.
that at the
Uh,
time. I can understand, but like I saw the last time I saw it was like 3-4 years ago. I was like, it's good, but really
yeah.
over fuck Matt Damon? Like, come on, I don't know.
Well, Matt Damon, in in this movie, has to bounce between being. There's a lot of it's an emotional performance. It's really a strong emotional performance. Also very funny because he has to be really defiant and like really like kind of like
Damn
all the scene.
apples.
Oh yeah, all the scenes with his friends, all the scene at the bar. That scene in particular is really good, and it's become iconic in its own right now. Um,
That's how I started my review.
how do you like them apples? Like I got her number. How do you like them apples?
No, but you
That
nailed it. Like he has to play funny. He has to play the genius. He has to play the damaged character. He has to play the reckless person. It's a very, like you said, full of emotion. So many, and for him to do it at such a young age,
yeah,
with like granted, Stellan Skarsgård wasn't a big deal for us over here, but he was a respected
the
actor
actor.
from
Yeah,
in the European countries. So it's like he stepped it up with a lot of heavy hitters.
yeah, he did. Um, he the scene where he meets when they meet Minnie Driver at the bar. Again, it's a good example. Like I'm talking about the whole like meet cute thing in 25th Hour. Like it's a cool thing with them because her character Skylar doesn't seem like she'd be into someone like him. She's like I want to say like prim and proper, but like I mean, she's definitely not
Good
like
for this girl.
yeah. She's definitely not like hanging out like on their side of the tracks much, and, like uh,
To put it
but
nicely.
but it's cool that she sees something in him that like it's like a
Yeah.
charismatic kind of like like that's a spark. She likes it, and which is why the other guy, the long blonde hair, is so easily
I don't know
dismissed.
if you watch Oz, you know who he is.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
it's just like but it is watching their relationship develop too is like really a sweet thing. And like honestly, again, I haven't watched it in 10 years until this morning. I forgot that like their stuff together is also really good, and they had really good chemistry. I think they started dating while they were making this movie. Um, and I think they
And
did,
then
and I think they,
homeboy
and
freaking
yeah, yeah,
one of the
yeah.
ugliest breakup I've ever seen. Like, how do you tell somebody how you mad at that? Like, I don't know what freaking talk show it was, but for the people that don't know, like he basically had already made his mind that he was dumping her. Announced it on I think it was Oprah. I don't know what it
Oh,
was.
I
Or
think
it was
Oprah. I
Showtime
think it was Oprah.
or one
Yeah.
of those. And that's how she found out that he basically broke up with her. Watching a show like that's the equivalent of somebody DMing you, yo, it's over.
Yeah. It makes me wonder. I wonder how what kind of feeling she has about. I mean, I'm sure they're all adults now, and like he's married, kids. I don't know like what. I think has kids now. Like I it's probably all like water under the bridge because they were all young back then. But I wonder if like
Yeah,
for a while if
probably.
it was like kind of like a like was it hard to kind of like look at the movie and be like I don't know, man.
No, yeah, I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if maybe she says that she can watch it. Like him, obviously, because he has more invested in it.
Right. Like
Like
yeah,
I could see it.
yeah, I can
Like
see that.
I could see it. I could see that it'll be harder for her,
Yeah,
but for him, like he has too much invested.
in it. I agree. I think that well, I mean, whether or not she still has fond feelings for it, she should be very proud of it because their stuff together is really really good. I actually think her character like is just likable. Like Skylar is just a very
Yeah, I love
likable
Skylar.
girl. It's a really fun character. Like she's not like stuck up. She never wants to like change him, which is like you might want to, which you would typically see in movies like this. If he met a girl like her, like she would like want to like make sure that he like fit into her mold. I thought like the sweet thing about it is that she really wanted to know him. Like she really wanted to know who he
She
was.
cared.
Yeah, when like he does the lie about having like when he talks about the brothers and like she's like about having 12 brothers, but she really wants to meet them. She wants to go to his house. They have that whole conversation when they're in bed together, like why do we always meet here? Why don't we meet at your place? He's ashamed of like where he comes
Where
from,
he
who he
lives.
is. And but I love that they wrote her to be so like genuine that she just didn't care. Like I think even if it was in the story where he told her right off the bat, like, this is my life, this is what I've gone through, she would have understood. And I think that's the best thing about her character in this is that she comes from a very real place and she's really empathetic. And I mean, I forgot. I mean, again, like I said, I've been watching a while. I forgot how likable she is, like how like absolutely likable that character is, and they have really spot on chemistry. It sucks it didn't work out in real life, but they have really really good chemistry in this. I really bought into the relationship like a lot. I thought,
Yeah, like it's popular for people to say that she's bad in the movie. Like, what are you talking about? She's charming. Like that British accent does it to me. And
yeah,
then she has a very sweet one. The chemistry, like you said, she cares about him. Like, and we're gonna get into it in a few, but like in the breakup scene, like,
yeah,
yo, you that shit breaks my heart because it's like you could tell she loves him. She does not care. Like she sees the
yeah,
potential in him. She just wants, like everybody in the movies, they want better for him because they know. So that's why he gets mad, obviously. But like you could tell that like her love for him comes from a place of like like is real, is genuine. So
yeah,
like I love her character. The chemistry's incredible, and
yeah.
I was happy she was nominated.
Yeah, I mean that's like we talked about like how subtle Robin Williams is, right? Like he has a lot of moments in the movie where yeah, there's some subtle things and there's some subtle quiet things that I'm sure that he got nominated for, like that stood out. Her performance is subtle in the sense where like it is banking on like you liking her and her being likable. I'm gonna assume I wasn't a voter, of course, for the Academy back then, or I'm not currently now either. But I would assume that breakup scene was like the scene that got her
That is, yeah,
her Oscar nomination. It's
that's her scene.
a tough scene. It's very emotional and raw. They're both very good in it. Um, but you can feel her breaking in that scene. That's the best way I could probably put it. You can feel her absolutely
Yeah,
breaking
it's it's it's,
because she's
it's
losing
the
him.
Oscar scene.
Yeah, she's losing him, and she doesn't want to. She wants to help him, and he's not letting her. And like and like just her saying like I love you, and he's just like he gets more aggressive, and that makes him want to push her away even more. Like that scene is like it's also interesting too because like when I was watching it, you don't really because like the start of it, there's not really like a bunch of argument. They're just kind of talking, and
Yeah,
then
you think this is a regular scene.
yeah, and then it builds into that, and you're like, whoa, like like just because she's finally asked too many, like she just wants to know, like, why can't I kind of be in your world? And like, they have that cool scene where she meets his friends, and she clearly could have been in his world, like she could have been perfectly fine, and like
She's not going
she
person enough.
she held her own, and like he just didn't have a lot of faith in himself. And I think that's another relatable thing in the movie too, is that like he has this gift, he has this thing that makes him stand out from all of his friends, but I think there is a fear of embracing it because he doesn't want to leave what he knows, because there is a comfort level there, and you don't necessarily want to leave that. And he also, because of how he was brought up, kind of brought up to not be sure of himself. I mean, like he comes from, I mean, he's a broken guy when we meet him.
Home to home.
Home to home. I mean, and then like, just he doesn't know. I mean, like Robin Williams points it out to him that he's never at one point when he says like you don't know the love of a woman, basically, like to have her like look at you in a certain way and like have you feel this way. And like there was a lot of things that he and that scene on the bench I love when they have to like because he you could tell Matt Damon, it says nothing in that scene, I think it's all Robin Williams talking to him.
That's all Robin Williams.
That's all Robin Williams talking to him, but you can see on Matt Damon's face that he is like taking that all in. And he's like, "Wow, this motherfucker is right." This
movie's full of great life lessons.
Like he is reading me like a fucking book right now. He knows exactly what I'm going through, and like it's such a real like cool moment too. Like I love scenes like that where you just watching people react, and like Matt Damon is just sitting there, just like, and it's all in his eyes, like all in how like he's taking all that stuff in. And but that's why that's why he is like that in his relationships. It's hard for him to trust people. The only thing that he does trust and understand are his friends, but that's because like like they've seen
they're kind of worse off than him in a way.
Yeah, they're worse off than him, and they've actually seen the worst too. Like they know where he comes from, so that's why he can be in a very honest place with them. And but yeah, but that's like those are some of the life lessons you learn in the movie though too. I mean, I think I said earlier like he's being kind of have a bunch of people pulling him in so many different directions, and like that's a very realistic thing I think for a lot of us to kind of, when you especially feel like you don't know what you want to do with your life, like at a certain point, like you could easily be swayed by people who want to influence you, and sometimes they can be really good. Yeah,
like you gave me advice the first time I was here. It's like people, it's like my wife, a couple of my friends, like obviously I love doing the Instagram stuff, but like starting a website or like doing YouTube stuff that will get me open more doors where I could get some press screeners, because the press screens I attended just really with Dave when he does me the favor, he has a +1 and he asks me, so it's like that. Like, and now obviously I don't have freaking Matt Damon. I mean, we'll go with hunting potential, like the smarts, but like I relate to that where it's like people want more stuff where I'm content with just the Instagram stuff, and then like you gave me about this start the YouTube stuff. It opens doors. My wife has something like I like do a website. Like I'll help you edit stuff like that. We could do this, so you can get more opportunities. Well, just so I relate to that when I watch it now. It's like potential, like people feel like there's more that you can offer with your talent and your gift.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there also what this movie shows well too. There's also when you want to embrace that talent, there's that fear of like failure too, of like, oh, like what if I don't succeed? Yeah, what if I don't succeed? And that kind of is in that character as well. Like, I mean, it's like he has these basic fears that we all kind of have when we're in a position like him, and he just needed the right people to like bring it out like of him. Like I love I love the funny montage of him seeing all the other therapists until he gets to Robin Williams.
Oh my god, that's such a great scene.
The first one especially, because the first one is such an over at the top, like almost TV sitcom-y therapist.
Is that when he's the
one he calls gay? The one he calls gays? Yeah. He's like, he's basically like that kind of guy. That stuff is hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious. but yeah, like I mean, like it's just like he needed the right person, like and like
Yeah.
I love how he thinks he's gonna dismiss even Robin Williams' character when he first meets him, and like no, this is like this one's different from like the other ones, basically.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it's like the same how Stellan Skarsgård's character feels that Robin Williams, like which is Robin Williams' character, didn't reach his full potential. So
yeah,
like it's like different stuff, but I feel like that's really connected because like Robin Williams saw a lot in Sean saw a lot in Will, like like I don't want this kid to be like me, where it's like I have more potential, like
yeah.
to be similar to Stellan Skarsgård's character. He probably was smarter, but he chose to want to enjoy life, have a wife. Where Stellan Skarsgård character probably was one of those type where it's like work was everything to him. Like it was all about
Yeah,
mathematics and
I'm glad
being
you brought that
prestige.
up too, because like they run those parallels between Robin Williams and Stellan Skarsgård because they went to
Yeah,
college together, and like he went one way and then he went the other, which is why he was even so reluctant to even reach out to Sean to help because like he was like, you know,
like I would do,
and
I would dig.
they have that one argument like towards the like when I guess towards the end of the movie,
Mhm.
where they're arguing about him and like what because Stellan Skarsgård wants to like I hate say using him because I don't think he's using him per se. It's
It's
just
like
like he
he pretty much wants him to be a prototype of him, like a carbon
yeah
copy. Like
yeah
I want him to be me.
and he's telling you like dude this is not what this kid he doesn't this you
It's not
need
what
to
he
know
wants.
that it's not what he wants. You need to know this kid before you like can even like address what the issues are, and that's not what you're doing. And like I that scene's really good too because they are kind of like he brought him in to help him kind of like get to a point where he can like all right solve this problem like and talk about all this other stuff. But Robin Williams was like no, there's much more to discover with him, and then that's why like it's much bigger than what you need him for. And like I think
Yeah.
that stuff was really cool to kind of see play out as well. I also love like the depiction of friendship, even though like some of these friendships might be depicted as not healthy. Some might say they're holding you back, but I think the ultimate one between him and Ben Affleck is very
Yeah.
real because I love that scene where like also towards the end where he basically tell him if you give up on this then you're a fucking idiot like and he was like I will kill like basically you don't
I
like
will fuck you up.
I will fuck you up, and I mean that literally. I will do it, and I love when he said like that moment where I like pick you up to go out and like go have drinks. I like 10 seconds like where you like from the walk from my car to your door. Like sometimes I basically hope that you're not there, and like because he knows he's probably off doing something much better with his life than like
Yeah.
going out with them and like getting drunk and like and I love they call back to that at the end too. I love that. It like get chills when he like goes to go pick him up and he
That
like
was a
looks in
Ben Affleck's like big scene.
yeah it was and like kids I don't think Ben Affleck gets a lot of credit for the acting stuff in this.
Yeah, speaking my
Uh
language.
and he's really good in the scene where he's talking to him when they're working when he's telling him like to not waste his potential. Like he knows what he's gonna be like when he's 50. That's his life.
Exactly. Like this
He's
is
accepted it. Like, but no, you have a gift. You have what some of us don't have. When he was like, I would kill to have what you have. So like that scene's really good. And then that scene towards the end when he's like going to go pick him up and like kind of realizes like what he wanted for his friend is finally like happening. And that's a really cool moment. Just like a good friendship moment between those two characters. And and honestly, probably really cool to play since they are best friends in real life. That had to like be really cool to kind of just do that in the movie too, and kind of write that friendship and build that
yeah,
friendship on screen.
that's why it just felt so natural. Like Gertz, like and there's all those guys, 'cause remember Casey is Ben's brother, and then Cole
Right.
Hauser, they had done school ties together, Days of Confusion. Like
Yep.
they wrote the parts for their friendship. That's why it feels natural. And by the way,
Yeah.
we gotta talk about Cole Hauser and Casey Affleck because they are hilarious. Like I wish
They
I
are.
had
They
a
are.
double
They are.
burger. Like that's
No,
crazy.
that whole scene about putting like his burger on a layaway because he's only had like what 16 cents or something like that, and he said he's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
put
like
his
it's
burger.
true.
He's gonna put his burger on like a layaway plan, and I love when he finally is like, "Here's your fucking double burger," and he like throws it in the back
And
seat.
then I love Cole Hauser and the fight scene. Where like
Yeah,
if you're not out there and freaking no, my bad, that was Ben Affleck, but like that scene, he's like
yeah,
if you when they're fighting, like if you're not out there in freaking 2 seconds, I'm gonna kick your ass.
oh, yeah, yeah. And then there's that whole scene. It's like it's such a throwaway scene, but the movie needs some comedic relief when they're at Ben Affleck's house, and he's like, "You better not be watching porn in my mom's
Oh,
room again."
the glove, the
And
glove.
he comes back with the glove. And he's like, "What did you?" He's like, "I didn't use the glove. I used the glove for the cleanup." And he's just looking at him like, "You're fucking gross." It's such a, you
No
know.
offense, that is real shit. Cause like, I mean, I've had it where it's like where my parents were away and I have friends over. They did a few shit that I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
He was like, "You're the only person. Your mom has a VCR in her room. That's the only reason why you use her room." Yeah, that's what was like. They were the comedic relief that like the movie kind of like when the movie needed levity. I'm glad that they had them
Yeah, like
in
I'm
it
glad
for
it
that.
wasn't just a throwaway like the two other friends. Like they gave him little things. Like I love Cole Hauser when they get the car, he like it's a good car, it's a good engine.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's the muscle. He's that friend, the muscle who's like he might not be the brightest dude, but that's a friend that you know is gonna be loyal and gonna have your back. Like we all need those type of people. And I'm pretty sure you have one of your. I have one
Yeah.
of in my crew where it's just like a guy that's like why you keep him around? He's a
Yeah.
good dude. He's a guy that's always gonna have your back. Will never betray you. Will never never let you down. Like you always have your back. Like we need like I said, like the fact that they're all like siblings, best friends, and have worked
Yeah.
together it really created one of the most authentic friendships I've ever seen put on screen.
Yeah, I agree. And then just talking about like, since Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, best friends, grew up in Boston, having the movie take place there. We talked about that with 25th Hour, how like, the city, the area can become its own character. Like you kind of feel the essence and love that they have for
For
Boston in this
Boston,
movie.
one hundred
Um,
percent.
100%. And like, even though a lot of the movie was shot on location in the Greater Boston area. A lot of the interior shots were actually filmed in Toronto at the University of Toronto, standing in for MIT and Harvard University.
That I didn't know.
But most of the like exterior stuff, like that, all that's where they grew up, and like they kind of like, and it's such a cool thing to kind of watch, like their love for that city kind of come through and like in this story as well. Like you can and they still have that love for especially Ben Affleck. I think I see Ben Affleck. I only say especially Ben Affleck because I feel like I see him like touted out a bit more than like Matt Damon does.
Yeah, because Matt Damon is super private.
Yeah. Even though I think his wife was like a cocktail waitress. Like that's how he met her.
Uh,
So good for him.
but
Her,
that's
I
how
guess.
private he is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then Ben Affleck now, especially being back with J Lo, he's really in the spotlight again.
Now
Like
he's like all over the
huge,
place.
no
Yeah.
privacy.
Yep. None at
He
all.
goes for his Starbucks run. I mean, his Dunkin' Donuts, famously, those
Uh,
runs. Like he's always on camera.
like we talked about earlier, Danny Elfman did the musical score for Good Will Hunting. He had worked with Gus Van
Underrated
Sant
score.
on To Die For. That's how they kind of met.
I love that
You know what?
shout out.
I love Danny Elfman's music. I didn't I will be honest with you. Until today, I didn't realize he did the score of this. I was like, oh, like when
Yeah,
his name popped up. His name popped up on the screen. I was like,
yeah.
what?
It's not what we're used to. Like I'm like, I didn't know. I found this out recently, but like it's a very different score than what we're used to. Like
Yeah,
have you seen To Die For?
yeah. I've
The
seen it.
Cole one?
Yeah, yeah,
You see,
yeah.
like that's a more of a that it has that
The Elfman score.
like it has that
Yeah,
Pee Wee
right.
Herman
It's
like
very like Tim Burton esque. Yeah,
yeah, it's like
yeah,
that, but this was very low key, which I'm surprised. I
yeah.
believe he was not. I mean, I guess he got nominated because, like I said, when the Oscars love a movie, they just nominate everything.
Every aspect of it, every aspect.
Yeah, it was one of
If
those
they
things. Like
could
no offense, I love.
if they could nominate the caterers, they would for certain movies like this.
Yeah, listen, like I love him, but this score is like there's so many Tim Burton movie scores that he wasn't nominated for that were more deserving.
Yeah. Then of course we talked about Elliott Smith. I mean, you have more love for My Heart Will Go On. I have more love for Miss
Well, I love the
Misery.
song.
Uh,
It's just like come on, that was one of the most secure Oscar wins for Titanic that year. That there's like best picture for sure. Director,
yes.
like no offense, Titanic's not my favorite movie that year, but there's no denying that James Cameron deserved best director because the what he did with Titanic, especially the sinking, is that's what directing is really about.
Yeah.
But that's the song is like I love Misery, but my heart will go on. Is like that was like it's like if you get anybody that said any otherwise that year is like come on, you clearly
Whatever.
not
I
tuned
will
with it.
die on my hill. I will die on my hill by myself.
I respect that.
Me
That's a
and Miss
hot take. That's a
Misery.
good take. That's a hot seat. That's a good thing because that's a great song.
Me and Miss Misery just on the hill by ourselves while everyone's like carrying My Heart Will Go On. But Elliott Smith made a lot of original songs for this movie. Angelus is another good one that plays when he calls Skylar on the phone and he's on the payphone speaking with her. It's a really solid Elliott Smith song. Also did No Name Number 3, Between the Bars, and Say Yes. Oh, and yeah, he did a lot of really great music for the movie. And I'm gonna find someone that likes that song more than My Heart Will Go On. That's gonna be my mission when I put this episode up. Put this episode out. I'm like, does anyone like Miss Misery more than My Heart Will Go On?
No, no. Like it's a great song. I love it. But man, My Heart Will Go On. It's like, to me, it's just the scene it was you. I guess maybe that because I could hear that song and I really cannot separate it from that scene.
Yeah,
like, it's really harsh.
Yeah,
so it's like I think that helps with the winning because it's like it's just when you see that movie, remember that the scene is happening. It's like, bro, that shit. I mean, it makes me cry.
So it's like because Miss Misery is played, which happens a lot as the credits are about to roll, and like I guess like that. I get what you're saying too, because I think when I think of like a best original song for a movie, I do want it to be associated with a moment from that movie that like is like, oh, that fucking stands out. Having it play over the end credits, it doesn't, right?
It works for that movie.
It works for the movie, but like it's just kind of like, but you want it to be in a moment that's like, oh, like there's that moment right here, like that one scene that like when you think about like Kiss from a Rose, that plays over the end credits of like Batman Forever. I mean, I know Seal didn't make Kiss from a Rose for Batman Forever, but when you think about the song, you're like, oh, like when did they play that?
I always thought he did.
You're like, yeah, it was actually on a Seal album already. Joel Schumacher heard it
I associate that song with that
really liked the song. Everyone does. Seal is happy that everyone does. But yeah, like
movie? Yeah.
But when you go to Batman Forever, like when did they play Kiss from a Rose? You're like, it's over the fucking end credits. Like it's just like oh, okay, well, like you want it to be in a bigger moment than it actually is. But yeah,
like who's a big for Eurovision? Like I was happy. I was like, yes, this is how you use a original song.
Yeah, but at least in this movie, he's gonna go see by his girl. And like it's a really like but again, I'm gonna find some other people to be on that hill with me, man. That's why I got like a week or two or a week.
Yeah, because like most
people,
because most credit songs that plays under the black screen, but with this one, it's like you remember because
the car
he doesn't cut off. You just see the car, so it plays on because even though there's the credits, it still feels like it's part of the movie because you're seeing Will's car.
Yeah, exactly. I know we talked about performance and stuff. I wanted to talk about this one scene because we brought it up. It's Not Your Fault scene. Again, I kind of keep saying it because I haven't watched the movie in a while. I was like sitting here like on like in my chair watching the scene play out,
looking at your posters,
and like it came back to me like a little bit because I kind of forgot about it. And he kept saying it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this scene! I forgot how it's this scene." Oh fuck! And then I'm watching it, and I'm watching like Matt Damon like break, and then him being like basically the father figure that he probably always really fucking needed.
Yeah, they longed for it.
And that like, and then being like, "Yo, it's not your fault." And then he's like, when he pushes him, and he's like, "Don't you fucking do that to me!" And like, and he still doesn't back away.
Now you.
And then he just hugs him, and I love that it's not just like a "you're gonna be okay." I think like Robin Williams says something towards the end of that, like "screw those douchebags." Something like really like not necessarily eloquent, but like it's just like forget about those people. Like you're fine. And like again, we talked about like what's your Oscar nominated moment. I mean Matt Damon has a lot of it in the movie, but I would assume it's this. And I don't know how you can watch that and then give the Oscar to Jack Nicholson as good as it gets. I will say I need to watch As Good as It Gets again because I haven't watched it in a long time.
You're just gonna be like
mad.
Like how? Like we know the how because it's Jack Nicholson and As Good as It Gets was like remember they hosted SNL.
Yeah. Was this like a career? I mean, I know he won before, but like it's like
no,
was it like
won two? But
so it was like
they have been. Yeah, it happened like 14 years. It was like when Meryl Streep won for the Iron Lady. It's like you have two Oscars, but you also been like 0-10 for the last 10 nominations.
Yeah, and
That's
then
how it was with Jag.
Helen Hunt won that year too, right? She won Best Actress, like
Yeah,
opposite him.
which is the crazy stuff. Every time he wins an Oscar, the leading lady of the movie wins Best Actress. Louis Fleischer in One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest, Straight Outta
Yes.
Compton, Terms of Endearment, and Helen Hunt. Like
Well,
if Jack won the Oscar, pretty much
your female lead's gonna win too. Good
He
for
was a
him.
select
That's hilarious. Yeah.
That's always one of my favorite Oscar trivias. It's like it's crazy. Like literally every single time he won it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I teared up watching that scene even this morning because I was like, I totally forgot about it, and like it wrecked me. I was like, oh, I like rewound it. And I know that sounds really weird, but I I rewound it. I rewound it because I was like, that scene is so raw. It's just so powerful. Like it's just so like, and I know like I think in pop culture they've made fun of that scene, like kind of like
yes,
a lot.
They just say like overacting. I'm like
overacting
about?
And like oh, it's so
like it's real emotions. Like
yeah, it's so well written and like so well acted from both of them. You have to have him be the most emotional one, and then keep Robin Williams just grounded the entire time, and then that is why it works because he needed to be his rock in that and like it was cool. It was cool. Great. Yeah, and what's cool in that scene, like I think he had to be his rock as a character and as an actor too, where it's like I need to like kind of like I'm supporting him in this moment because I'm pretty sure that was probably a hard scene for Matt Damon because like pretty sure he idolized Robin Williams. Like this is like a big moment. Like I don't want to screw up.
It's a make or break. This is like your big movie because like it's similar to the Stallone situation with the Rocky script. Like they love the script, but they just since they weren't names, they didn't want them attached. And, they kept saying like no, because they both knew given the how everybody wanted the script, they knew that we do these roles. This is gonna be our breakout. Like we've been. I want to say I will never call them struggling actors. Like Matt Damon had School Ties, Courage of the Fire, Geronimo. Ben Affleck had Dazed and Confused, School Ties. He had been a few stuff. Like I wouldn't call them struggling actors, but they both knew that this would, especially like I said, with the man who should be unnamed. They knew what he was about. He was about the Crying Game, Pulp Fiction. They knew that with his movies, won Oscars, they were hits, they made careers.
Yeah, so,
and I love that. I love that.
And I think Matt Damon Matt Damon worked with Miramax quite a bit after this. He did Rounders, The Talented Mr. Ripley. I think almost back to back. Like it was like he was their
3 straight years.
I think he was their golden boy for a little bit, and also one day I will deep dive this on our other show. Like other than this, The Talented Mr. Ripley is probably my favorite Matt Damon performance. Like he's so fucking good in that movie. Like
I'll say that.
He's
how's the people, Tommy? How's the people?
Yeah.
I forgot in that movie.
Hell yeah! I forgot. Yeah, he's so good. Everyone's so good in that movie. That's all we all discovered. Jude Law, like that movie is like it's so good for like the people that were in it. I think Gwyneth Paltrow has the most. Yeah. Oh, and like Gwyneth Paltrow at first seems to have the most thankless role, but once she kind of sees him for who he is, then she has like a really good moment too. That's like no, like you're fucking crazy. Like no, I gotta revisit that movie too again.
That's another movie that just caused so many actors at the perfect time of their careers. Like Gwyneth right after the Oscar, Cate Blanchett after Elizabeth, Matt Damon, boom. Philip Seymour Hoffman already had his reputation. Jude Law was at the Gattaca, but this blew him up.
Yeah, so Jude Law got nominated for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I love the movie, but after Jude Law gets,
it does take a turn. It's
22 years.
Yeah.
After he gets killed, it loses steam.
It becomes less interesting from what I remember because I haven't watched it in a while, but it does become less interesting afterwards.
It does. I saw it last year.
Yeah, it does. I do remember that. We talked a little bit about the success of Good Will Hunting, but when it came out in limited release, it actually earned $272,912 in its limited release. It didn't open. So this is gonna be a thing. Like, can I consider I can't cheat. I can't be like, well, the anniversary for this is going to be in January '98. No,
I said December 5th.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with that too. It opened wide January 1998 in wide release, and that's when it earned $10.2 million. It was like actually on the same box office chart, tracking with Titanic. That's when Titanic was number one for like how 13 weeks, maybe longer.
Freaking
I
like
forgot.
kind
I
of
think 13 weeks.
pretty much
Um,
the whole first half of 1998.
yep. But Good Will Hunting went on to gross $138.4 million in the States and $225.9 million worldwide. Unheard of for an adult drama nowadays, which is sad. I mean, like we brought that up earlier, but like this is success that I think certain people who are cinephiles now that don't really know what it was like for these movies to come out in like the late 90s, early 2000s, even maybe even a little bit longer. Like they knew how to release these movies and build word of mouth and like kind of get the word out there before making them open wide.
Mr. Unknown was great at that.
He was really. I mean, like, I wish that was the only thing. I wish that he didn't do other shit so I can like give him more credit
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm
being
saying.
a fucking
Yeah, he
mega
was.
producer.
Yeah,
It's
like he
like
was a
he
piece of
was
shit.
he was a piece of shit, but he was really smart about how like
He was smart. He was smart.
he got movies like Shakespeare in Love to make a ton of money. That wouldn't happen today, like at all. Like
It would have
I
been
mean,
saving. It would have saved Saving Private Ryan at all.
yeah, like
That
I
was all
was like
his freaking
like
mega marketing.
like what the hell? I mean, like, but like, yeah, Miramax was a fucking people forget Miramax was a powerhouse studio, especially when it came to like Oscar prestige films, and this was their golden ticket in '97. I mean, I'm glad it took home. I'm glad they got the screenwriting award. I remember watching the Oscars and seeing their genuine happy reaction when they won, like jumping around like big fucking
That speed
kids.
is great.
Like that is so, and like you could tell just they you could that is when like the kid, like the adolescent Boston in them just kind of came out and they didn't care. They were like, dude, like I can't we
Like,
like we
Max,
fucking
mom,
won.
can we
Mom, yeah,
please?
no, yeah, yeah. There was everybody. It was so great. It was just so cool to see them win, and like they were just so happy and like a much deserved win too. Like
Like when you mentioned the about like everybody was so happy. I feel like that's like when Jennifer Lawrence won her Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook. Bro,
yeah,
because she was like the girl that it was like a Matt Damon. Ben
she was a
Affleck was
front
like,
she was a front runner.
yeah,
Yeah,
like like they just like it was easy to like because she was charismatic, and we knew that she was being positioned as okay, this is gonna be the next big star for like the next 8 to 10 years, and that's how Matt
yeah,
Damon and Ben Affleck were. Granted, Matt Damon made some better decisions, than Mister
yeah.
Armageddon, Forces of Nature, and over there he went for the more
Hey,
blockbuster route.
I like Forces of
I like Forces. I like. Don't get me wrong. Me, you, we see eye to eye
yeah, yeah.
with round comes like Miss Congeniality,
Yeah,
but like Matt Damon went for the more precise. He went for Anthony Minghella. He went for John Dahl with Rounders. He went for Steven Spielberg. Well,
yeah.
Ben Affleck just went for the more popcorn stuff. Ranger Games, like I said, Armageddon.
Armageddon.
He Jack Ryan.
Yeah,
So like they went different trajectories, but at the end of the day, Ben Affleck was, like I said, the first movie I ever saw him in was probably either this or Ranger Games. I can't remember which one I saw first. But
yeah,
like they were positioned as guys that we needed to know who they were.
yeah. What I thought was interesting is that this movie has a very high Rotten Tomato score. It's a 97%, much deserved.
Hell yeah.
It also has an A cinema score when it opened. But for most of the reviews, which even reviews that gave it good reviews, like Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars, and this is like what a lot of people have said about the movie. A lot of people call it predictable, which sounds like a veiled insult. And he said that it
Yeah.
has, but
For
he
this
says
movie,
it,
yeah.
but he says it has the individual moments. It's about the individual moments, not the payoff, that make it so effective. That's what he said about Good Will Hunting. And then a Hollywood Reporter praised the cast, said the acting is brilliant overall, with special praise to Matt Damon for his tender portrayal of the boy cursed with genius. And then another reviewer for Entertainment Weekly said it's stuff. It's indeed overstuffed, but it has heart, soul, audacity, and that's something I can give it credit for. There's a lot. It seems like there's a lot of like, yeah, this is a really predictable coming of age story, but I think like the actors and like stuff kind of sold it for them a bit more.
Like you
But that
said,
was
it's the moments. It's
yeah,
like it's the moments inside of the story. Like yeah, you could probably see, like you said, like the callbacks. Like you can kind of like when you watch the movie, especially as you rewatch it, you kind of see the hands like, yeah, he's probably that's how it's gonna end. He's gonna leave the thing. The only thing that I wouldn't say is predictable is the fact that him and Skylar broke up. I would have thought like Skylar would have been in the car
yeah,
with him when he left Boston. That's pretty. That's that. But like when you rewatch, you can see, like you said, you perfectly nailed it. Like the callbacks, even when we were talking about 25 with the callbacks with the whole Central Park stuff like that. Good movies do that. Like, and a good movie could do those predictable moments where like give hints that like what's
Yeah,
gonna come to be.
yeah,
But if it doesn't take away from me enjoyment, that to me is good filmmaking.
yeah. I agree. And Robin Williams won, of course, the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He also won the SAG Award. He did not win the Golden Globe. I don't know who beat him.
Boogie
But
Nights, baby, Burt Reynolds
oh,
did
with
it.
Burt Reynolds. Oh, that was supposed to be his comeback, right? That was like his
Yeah,
big like
it was
comeback.
really
It
a
was
two
his big
headed,
comeback.
but Burt Reynolds kind of didn't get along with Boogie Nights, and I mean, with PTA, and he was kind of shitting a bit on Boogie Nights,
He
and I
didn't.
feel
He
that
said he
kind of
didn't
hurt
get the
him.
movie. I remember. I've heard that. Like he was like, oh, he didn't. And then,
Yeah, like I
but
feel
once he
that
got,
fucked him up.
yeah, once he got awards attention for it, then he was like, oh, okay, well, maybe like I'll ride this wave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel that press tour kind of messed him up because I mean, no, I mean, either one would have been a great win for me.
yeah.
So
Because
it's like
Burt
if
Reynolds
like
actually, Burt
if
Reynolds is good in that movie. Like I will give him that.
hell yeah, I love that movie.
But yeah, they're I mean also nominated for like all the other major awards. Minnie Driver was nominated for a SAG award for Best Supporting
The wrong
Actress.
winner of that.
Yeah, Matt Damon also was nominated for all the major awards for Best Actor. He did not win, of course. Um, but yeah, it was
We
a
said
big.
many times in this pod.
Yeah, I know, I know. I'm a. I mean, I'll watch it again.
We're
And
salty. We're salty. It don't matter. We're salty about this win.
I'll watch it again, and if I watch it and I'm like, yo, he wasn't as good as him, I'm taking Matt Damon up to that hill with Miss Misery. Like you should have won
Yeah,
Oscars in
yeah,
1990.
you're gonna message right away like, yo, JKC, you were right. Matt Damon got robbed.
Yeah, you got robbed. Is there anything else you want to say about just the overall experience of it? I mean, I mean, it sounds like it's one of your like favorite movies.
No,
Like, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like,
Like if I was to, like I said, like I've seen this over 25 times. Probably, like from movies that were released in the last 25 years, has to be one of the ones I've seen the most. It's just like you said, this is like is that A plus. I didn't know about the cinema score, but like it makes sense because that movie just leaves you. Like I've always told my wife and I told my friends, like close friends that aren't that into films like me and you.
yeah,
I always tell them, I'm like, a movie to me the most important thing with a movie is a good start and a good ending. You could have a mediocre middle because when we leave the movies, the first conversations we have when we're leaving with our friends, it tends to be, oh, that if the movies if a movie has a terrible ending, like oh, I love that movie, but the ending sucked. I liked it till the end, and then this
yeah,
movie just leaves you on a high note. Like he leaves off in a good turn with Sean's character. He's
yeah,
leaving Boston and reaching, hopefully reaching his potential. And he's gonna go see about a his girl. And then one
yeah.
last thing, retainer.
Oh yeah,
Ben
that's a
Affleck is
great.
freaking hilarious. I mean, Ben Affleck is
That's a great
hilarious in
scene.
that scene.
That's a great scene. That's a great scene. Like I said, he deserves more credit than he gets for a role in that movie. And also probably more credit as a writer. No more pop culture jokes about how he didn't write a good portion of the movie.
No,
I was
but
I
I
think it
didn't
was a
know what you
collaborative
said
effort.
about.
It was
But
a
I
yeah.
didn't know
It's
what you said about that Matt Damon started. I thought it was just they brainstormed it together like from the beginning. I didn't know
they,
that Matt. I mean, so I understand those things when people saying that it was more of a. But I feel like they probably, like I said, they obviously took off the whole CIA stuff. But it's obviously a collaborative. But I did not know until you blew my mind when you mentioned that that Matt Damon started writing it by himself. I thought it was always the thing they did together. Now some here. This is what I have working. Can you help me like
yeah,
evolve it into more? I never knew that.
yeah. Well, watching it again for the first time in a while, it still holds up for me as like a really good experience. It probably, if I did have to make a list of my top movies, it'd probably be in there too. Um,
Yeah.
that it's not your fault thing is still stuck on me right now. I can still feel it after watching it this morning. Um, uh, but yeah, it's a really just a really good solid effort. A good like I guess first screenwriting effort from these two guys, and like uh, and also a really good kind of Hollywood like Cinderella story almost. Like kind of like
Yeah,
having this
that's why
get
everybody was so happy for them because it was a
yeah, having
Cinderella
this get
story.
made. Yeah, I mean, like they were like kind of like the underdogs a little bit. Even probably throughout that whole production, just getting it made and getting it out there, and like, uh, I think it holds a high place in a lot of people's lives who have like seen it over the years and embraced it, and even like 25 years later, I think it still holds up. Miss me some Robin Williams. I felt that a lot watching it today.
Yeah.
But it's good that we have stuff like this to kind of remember him by, because he left so much great work like this with us to continue to watch.
Yeah, like it's not as sad as River Phoenix and Heath Ledger, where you have like 8, 10 movies and maybe like 5 of them are good. With Robin Williams, you literally have like I could make a top 15, top 20 Robin Williams list pretty easy because he had a couple thuds like Jacob the Liar and What Dreams May Come, but he has so many classics that like we have a lot of like like he could mean a lot of like stuff for people like from the age group where we are like 84 to 92. It's more like Aladdin, Hook, Mrs. Doubtfire. Then people like my younger cousins, they have Jumanji, Flubber. Like he had 2 different generations very good.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you again for sitting with me for another episode.
Anytime, my brother.
Celebrating interview anniversaries. I know this is a long one today, but both episodes that you guys will all get to hear. We had a great time talking about 2 very great movies. One 20 years old, one 25 years old. Still stand the test of time. It was great to kind of look back at them. Actually, for me I rewatched 25th Hour all the time, but rewatching Good Will Hunting fresh this morning was like a really good experience, and I kind of forgot how much like that movie really does stick with me. But yeah, thank you for hopping on and like talking the movies with me. And as always, guys, you can listen to us across our various podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Good Pods, anywhere you get your podcasts fix. We got you set throughout most of December into the new year between anniversary episodes, the regular show, and the spinoff. It's a very busy time for Back to the Blockbuster, but at least you'll have a ton of content to listen to as we head into 2023. Once again, JC, thank you for being on, and we will see you guys soon. Peace.